Hey guys, welcome to my new movie review. Today I'm going to be telling you about the new David Fincher film called Gone Girl. It's based off a popular best-selling novel by, I believe her name is Gillian Flynn. Gone Girl is basically a story about a man. His name is Nick Dunn, I think his name is, and he's played by Ben Affleck. And him and his sister run a bar together, and for some odd reason, it's in the wife's name of Nick Dunn. And so he arrives home during what's supposed to be their wedding anniversary. And for some odd reason, the wife's gone. And he kind of walks into the house with it kind of like looking like a crime scene a little bit, like things got stolen, things got knocked over. So either the wife got killed or got kidnapped or something happened to her. There's some reason why she's not there. So at first, obviously Nick calls the cops, and they start looking into the case. And the big obvious thing at first is, did Nick actually kill the wife, and he's trying to cover this up. And so there's all these different kind of scenarios that could have happened that clearly Nick either doesn't want to talk about, or something that happened that Nick is unaware of at this point. And so the movie kind of plays out in a way where there's parts where you really think Nick is telling the truth, and there's parts where you think he's kind of hiding the truth from some people, and you don't know if this is frustration or him trying to hide things or him playing a game with the community. And so the film just as it as it unravels itself, the film just kind of keeps going into a deeper psychological meaning of what's really going on. And you obviously get to see a completely different side of the story that Nick obviously isn't able to see. That was really something that was going on behind the scenes of why exactly this wife disappeared from his life. So I really enjoyed Gone Girls, you guys. I really like a lot of David Fincher's work. I know, to name a few of them that I have also really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Fight Club and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and Zodiac was pretty good too. So he's made some really good ones. And so I really enjoyed Gone Girl. I was really looking forward to it, and it definitely lived up to the hype. I think it definitely did a great job with taking that story that everybody's familiar with, with the vanished spouse, or the husband or the wife getting killed for some odd reason, and that really kind of playing it, in a way that doesn't feel like it's been done a million times before. I really think they found a really unique way to approach this story that really makes it feel refreshing and not really original, but it definitely feels refreshing for the most part. So for my positives and negatives of Gone Girl, you guys, this film for the most part is beautifully crafted. I love how David Fincher makes his films. They're very well written. They're very well directed. They're shot very well. They're lit very well. The man knows how to make a movie, and Gone Girl definitely shows his talent. I mean, it's just so beautifully crafted, and it kind of has that dark mustard yellow tone that you see in a lot of Fincher's work, and it's definitely brought back into Gone Girl, and it works very, very well for this movie. I like how Gone Girl has a love and hate relationship for some of these characters. And it's very appropriate at times. There's times where you really are supposed to hate some of these characters, and there's times where you really are supposed to love these characters, and you really see a real honest side of themselves. And it feels very appropriate for where the timing of certain scenes as they play out with. And David Fincher really did a good job showing the good and the bad of certain characters throughout the course of the film. I like how, and I won't go into too much detail because I know a lot of people have already praised this film for this, and I kind of want to make sure that I don't go into spoiler territory either. So, but what I will say for now is I really like how the film explores the dark side of the press, the dark side of the media as well. It really just goes to show, not everything you see on TV is true. Obviously, there's certain things on TV and on the press where they like to exaggerate it, or they like to go on for really long about it, and they don't really need to. Two examples, this would definitely be the Anna Nicole Smith death back when that happened. It was on the news like every other day. And another one too was when I think it was Prince Henry and the Queen of England or something had a kid. That went on forever, and in a way that one's still kind of going on to this day. So they really like to just stretch out the stuff as much as they can, when they have no other material to work with and things like that. So this film definitely shows the dark side of the media that was kind of an intriguing and really honest and thoughtful way to kind of view things. So, and the film also has a great job of really great building some great suspense. It really does have an edge of your seat quality in this film. It really just You really are curious as to what's really going on behind all this, why the wife disappeared. And it just really builds suspense really well. And when something new is introduced, it just really builds on that new idea really well as well. So great suspense building in this movie. And for all the crap I've given Tyler Perry throughout the years, and for all the crap that he's gotten from the media throughout the years, Tyler Perry really did a great job in this film. I think this is definitely his best movie he's done so far. Definitely the best choice as an actor he's done so far for a film. Just really fitting in a way. For those who might remember this film, I think it was called Good Deeds or something like that. I think he played a lawyer in that movie. Basically, his role in this is what Good Deeds should have been in a way. I mean, he just really nailed it in this film. I really liked his character too, and just a really good performance from him. And it's great to see Tyler Perry get involved with a film for once that I really liked him in. And Gone Girl for sure has some great villainous characters. I won't share who those characters are, but when you get to really know who the real characters are behind this whole thing between about the wife disappearing and things like that, there really are some great villainous characters here, and I really hope that the Film Academy gives this film a lot of attention because a lot of the performances in this film really are Oscar worthy. Whether that's not a nomination or a win, we'll have to see how the year plays out. But for the most part, there's some really good villainous performances in this movie. For my negatives of Gone Girl, these are more so nitpicks. They're really not like, oh, this is going to really weigh the film down kind of thing. But these are things that I think the film could have improved upon. David Fincher himself has admitted that he's made a few little flaws in his films on occasion. So these are little flaws that I think he could probably watch out for when he makes a future film. For Gone Girl, I thought there was some occasional convenient plot structures. Usually when these murder mystery kind of, or when someone disappears and things like that, and on a TV show or a movie, usually, they say like 1 month or 2 months later and things like that. Throughout Gone Girl, I feel like there's times where they make things go on longer than they need to. Like, oh well, it has to be a month, so that way can have a subtitle that says 1 month later and things like that. So there's a little occasional convenient things where the wife's gone for this certain amount of time, or this character's out and about for this certain amount of time, and it just kind of felt convenient to the plot, and in some ways for when that was happening. So just some little small convenient plot structure issues that the film occasionally runs into. Also, this is more of the internet's fault for kind of doing this. Um, this isn't David Fincher's fault. This really isn't the marketing team's fault for TV advertisements and movie advertisements. But I felt like the internet really made this sound like it was going to be a dark comedy. In my opinion, this film does such a great job being a mystery and suspense movie, a thriller, and a drama at times as well, that by the time there is dark comedy elements, and there is some occasionally in here, it just really didn't feel like it needed to be. I mean, I loved it so much as a mystery and suspense film and as a drama. I don't really think I needed a dark comedy element to this movie at all, to tell you the truth. It just kind of felt out of place and just kind of unnecessary after a while. There is some messy back and forth story points at times too. For those who really hate like flashbacks in movies or in TV shows, there's times where they'll go on with this one thing that's important to the plot, and then they'll cut away, and then they won't go back to it until quite some time later. And by the time they finally do get back to it, you really don't care anymore, just because we've been introduced to another big idea already. It's kind of hard to get back into that other idea because Fincher, for some odd reason, really wanted to split this film all over the place to tell the story. So, for those who really hate like flashbacks in films, you might not like the way that portion of the film is executed. As far as this one thing happened all the way back here, and now we're back to the present with what's currently going on. It just kind of felt a little messy after a while. For those who saw Man of Steel, you might have the same problem that you have with that film, with certain things happening at certain times. Gone Girl tried that same structure. It worked for me for the most part, but there's a lot of parts where it really just kind of felt messy for the most part. So, and then for my last little nitpick, I do think, because we've seen stories like this before, where the wife or the husband disappears or gets killed or whatever. As a result, the film doesn't feel as original as it could have been, I think. I love this idea, don't get me wrong. I love the execution, but I felt overall something about just didn't feel as original as it could have been. So I don't know. I'm a huge fan of original storytelling, so I would have really liked to have preferred a way where not only is the execution original, like what David Fincher did here, but to make it the story really feel original and spawn it out of a story that we're really familiar with. I think that really would have been really unique to see. What I think what really makes Gone Girl worth seeing is its really unique execution, not the original execution, a unique execution. But overall, guys, I give Gone Girl a 9 out of 10. I really do think it's a terrific film. I do think it's one of the better films we've gotten this year. And there's been some really good ones this year. And so that's really saying a lot. So 9 out of 10 for me. It's a really well crafted film. If you love David Fincher, if you love Ben Affleck or Rosamund Pike or, you know, murder mysteries or, you know, husbands or wives gone missing kind of stories, Gone Girl is definitely for you. It definitely has a unique take on that. So huge thumbs up for me. Make sure to see Gone Girl. It's a really terrific David Fincher movie.